Prime Minister Modi said if the Congress comes to power, they'll bring a separate budget for Hindus and separate budget for Muslims. So maybe this is a separate budget for BJP ruled states and BJP allied states. Somebody is having some coffee somewhere, somebody is making a telephone call somewhere, somebody is buying an umbrella, somebody is buying a raincoat, and every possible thing GST is there, and it keeps coming. And people sitting in air conditioned rooms, the central government offices, the money is pouring into the central government. They are telling this private sector. They're like telling schoolboys yesterday, even the finance minister's speech was, and their economic survey. They go with the begging bowl to the center and the GST council and ask for relief from there. A day may come when Tamil Nadu may not be considered as part of South and they may be added to the East.
Hello, Federal viewers. Today, my guest is a senior journalist, Mr. Rangaraj. We will decode the budget from the perspective of the states. Sir, today the MPs from the India bloc, they protested in the parliament and they actually staged a walkout saying there is nothing in the budget, and it was very visible. What's so important important takeaway from this budget from the perspective of the states?
Well, to put it simply, this doesn't look like the union budget. It looks like an NDA budget. So that's in a nutshell. It's a budget for the NDA coalition states where the BJP is ruling or their allies are ruling. So they have been put on a separate pedestal. In fact, before the election, Prime Minister Modi said if the Congress comes to power, they'll bring a separate budget for Hindus and separate budget for Muslims. So maybe this is a separate budget for BJP ruled states and BJP allied states. We don't know if there's a second budget going to come for opposition ruled states. But that's highly unlikely.
You mean to say when the finance minister was reading the budget, we were just waiting to hear any new thing, any allotment for the non-BJP states would be coming?
For example, Tamil Nadu government has asked for Metro 2, Phase 2, flood relief. That has still not come, though the central team has visited the state. Same is the case with Telangana, even Karnataka, Kerala. All of them are complaining that the central government seems to have forgotten South India altogether.
The Finance Commission, the 15th Finance Commission, has recommended that the states to be given 42% of the divisible tax pool of the centre during the period 2021 to 22 to 25 to 26. But so far, the states have never received close to 40%. I'm just wondering what will be the imaginary picture look like if at all the state, if the state centre comes forward to allot 42%.
Manufacturing states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, even Gujarat, they suffer. And states where they are not production states but are consumption states, where they are mainly procuring, they're getting a big share of the GST revenue. Even states like UP and BR, UP and BR are at least big states, but there are a lot of small states where there's virtually no production. But because consumption is high, most of the GST is going to these states. Whereas the states which have a lot of investment and infrastructure in industry, like Tamil Nadu, the automobile industry, for example, or Maharashtra, where there are manufacturing enterprises. Here, the GST proportion that's coming to the states is very much lower, and in fact, they have now come to a situation where they say that they're at a loss because of introduction of GST, and they want the compensation package to continue. But the centre has ruled out the extension of the compensation package. So a stage is coming where the states are also crippled because the centre has introduced new provisions restricting the borrowing capacity of the states. So where will the state go? Allocation from GST is minimal. Central government is collecting by way of indirect and direct taxes something like 34 lakh crores. That much amount of money is pouring into the central government without doing anything. Somebody is having some coffee somewhere, somebody is making a telephone call somewhere, somebody is buying an umbrella, somebody is buying a raincoat, and every possible thing GST is there, and it keeps coming. And people sitting in air conditioned rooms, the central government offices, the money is pouring into the central government. And what they give out to states is marginal. It's only about 12 lakh crores or something. So with more than 22 lakh crores, the central government should do a lot in terms of infrastructure development and social welfare schemes.
What will happen if the center comes forward to allot
No,
close to
that's only meager,
40%?
no. Even 42% the states are saying is meager. It's only a very small amount because the state's borrowing capacity is limited. And the amount, what are the items on which you can collect taxes locally? Apart from the share from GST, what is the share uh, additional thing away from mobilization? A state government can mobilize additionally how much? Their, uh, their options are very, very limited.
And now the center is asking the states to lower the stamp duty
Yes.
also.
So the 42% is itself below par figure.
Sir, in the current budget, Finance Minister has allotted 3.49% of the total GDP into infrastructure. So they focus a lot on physical infrastructure. Some experts are saying, the time, the urgency is now to create social infrastructure, rather physical infrastructure. What's your viewpoint?
See, the government does not believe much in social infrastructure uh, because there are experts sitting around who are thinking in terms of production or assets which will bring in taxes, not necessarily jobs. Even the government doesn't think much of investing in infrastructure which can generate jobs. No. Now the central government's main theme in this entire budget is they are telling this private sector, they're like telling schoolboys yesterday, even the finance minister's speech was, and the economic survey, Sanantha Nageswaran, CEA, has spelled out that the corporate sector is swimming in excess profits. These are specific words that he used. Swimming in excess profits. That means they're having a jolly good time swimming there, whereas other sectors are neglected, right? And they are telling the corporate sector it is time that you start creating infrastructure and invest in new projects and give jobs to people. See, they're neatly passing the buck. The government has been asked to provide employment to the people. So unemployment has become a
And it
major issue in these
reflected in the
elections.
and it reflected in the elections.
And
Yes.
especially the youths, they're affected one by the controversy leak of NEET exams, and also they are worried about unemployment. Instead of addressing that, if you invest a huge amount in infrastructure, new factories may come up and the youths may get jobs. But they're not doing that. What they're doing instead is saying private sector should invest. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman poo-poohed the idea when the Congress released this in the manifesto. She said this is all bunkum, it all won't work. But that's the only new scheme that is there in the budget, if
This
you
year
actually
budget.
see.
Yeah.
And that they say will help generate jobs. But it's a long-winded, what do you call, a path which keeps going around circles in circles. Okay.
So the finance minister mentioned about cooperative federalism in her speech. I just want to quote her. She said there is a need for collaboration between the center and state for the development of the country. And she said the development of the country lies in development of states. She indicated the path to structural reforms will be shaped by cooperative federalism. Is this a daydream or this can be a real picture?
Now this again is passing the buck, like we saw passing the buck for employment to the private sector. Here they are passing the buck of employment, of industrial development, of social empowerment, and all things which are required by the people. This is being conveniently passed to the states. Where it's convenient, they talk of federalism to shirk their responsibility. So they're saying it's a point now the states have to develop all these initiatives, they do all this. But where is the money with the states? If the central government says we don't have the money and states must try and do that, the same applies to states. Where does the state gets money? In fact, all the money that comes goes to the center, and then they have to ask them to release their share of the GST. It's the other way around. In the olden days, the sales tax and commercial taxes were levied by the states, and it used to be with the state government. Some portion which has to go to the center, the states will pass to the center. That was much better. Now everything goes there, and they go with the begging bowl to the center and the GST council and ask for relief from there. So things have turned upside down. So if you want the states to take the initiative, you restore the right of states to collect the money and keep the money with them and hand over whatever is the balance portion required to the center. That's much better than uh,
That is what a cooperative federalism would
it
be,
should
right?
be. Or a situation may come where the states, if they continue on the same path of neglect by the center or discrimination by the center, they may say we will abandon GST and we'll go back to our own old sales tax and commercial tax regime, where the state is a master. The state can raise taxes, lower taxes. They have got their own social welfare schemes, social justice, empowerment, social infrastructure. You said they need to fund all those schemes. So they will say, if I collect my sales tax and I collect my commercial tax, I can keep it with me.
When they say look east, for all these years, Andhra Pradesh remained a southern state. But this time, they said the all round development of the eastern region covering Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, and Andhra Pradesh. So suddenly, Andhra Pradesh is seen as an eastern state.
I think they see it as an extension of Orissa. So because Andhra is close to Orissa border, and it's all in a line. If you see, uh, uh, but then you are taking the east coast that way. You can take Tamil Nadu also.
Okay.
Tamil Nadu also, you've got an east coast, 1,100 long kilometer. So a day may come when Tamil Nadu may not be considered as part of south, and they may be added to the east. But all this is just quibbling with words. What they have actually done is, in all these states, excepting Jharkhand, they are ruled by BJP or by their allies. So in the name of saying we want to develop East, what they've done is they are favoring their own state or their own ally.
So, how far the states like Bihar and Andhra Pradesh will gain from this budget? How they can empower their states with this?
See, they have asked for a special package. Just 2 days before, the central government has informed in parliament that special status package for Bihar, for example, has been turned down. I believe the next day comes the budget. What they've done in budget is to mollify them and say, okay, you will not get special package, but we will give you something special and give you some allocation here and there, some project here and there, some railway projects and some airline project, something like that, and then give some sops like it comes and hope they'll be happy with it. They seem to be happy with it because when nothing comes, at least something is coming. Okay, but the point is that even Andhra, which has claimed special status, Bihar, which has claimed special status, these in many of these cases they are not direct transfers from the center to the state. They are talking about enabling. Uh, they will put in a word to multilateral financial agencies and ask them to consider their case favorably for development of these special projects in Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, and who these multinational agencies are and what will be their terms and conditions. And Andhra and Bihar also, they are saying we'll have to partially meet the requirement either in terms of investment or in terms of repayment of the loans. So it looks like it's more kind of a loans being provided to them, and they'll have to take care of the repayment. In which case, what is the central government's involvement in this so-called package that they're giving these people? These people have not gone through the fine print yet. Once the Andhra and BR, the secretaries and chief secretaries finally get the budget provisions and see what is the actual allocation and what is the money that's actually coming to them, they will find that most of them is coming as some kind of loan as from some agency.